Every Olympic Games brings glory, passion, and sometimes tragedy, but few reveal the hidden costs like Athens 2004 and Rio 2016. In Athens, the race wasn't for medals, it was against time itself. Delays and exhaustion turned dreams into deadly deadlines. March 15, 2004, Demetrius Antonopoulos fell 100 feet when safety cables snapped. Months later, crane operator Nikos Georgiou was crushed when his crane collapsed. Both victims of impossible schedules and ignored safety. 12 years later, Rio repeated the same mistakes, only darker. 11 workers died building Brazil's Olympic dream. April 21, 2016, a brand new cycling path collapsed into the ocean. 2 people killed, victims of shortcuts and pressure. Investigations revealed corruption, weak design, cheap materials. Behind every medal and cheer, there were lives never remembered. Their sweat built the dream. Their silence paid the price. February 12, 2010. The Whistler Sliding Center was silent except for the sound of ice and speed. 21-year-old Nodar Kumaritashvili, a young Georgian luger, prepared for his final practice run. It was his dream since childhood, to race for his country, just like his father once did. But the Whistler track had a deadly reputation. The fastest, most dangerous in the world. Speeds exceeded 90 miles per hour, and even expert athletes had crashed during practice. At 4:44 p.m., Nodar launched from the starting point, sled slicing the ice like a bullet. The first few turns were smooth, perfect technique. His run looked flawless. But as he approached turn 15, known as the 50-50, everything changed. His sled drifted slightly left, a tiny error, but at 90 miles per hour, even inches can be fatal. He tried to correct it, but the motion came too late, too sharp. The sled hit the wall, launching Nodar into the air like a projectile. At over 87 miles per hour, he struck a steel pillar, impact too powerful to survive. Medical teams rushed in within minutes, but the damage was irreversible. He was pronounced dead just hours before the Olympic opening ceremony. The tragedy shook the world, a reminder that even at the height of human achievement, danger never sleeps. Safety changes were made overnight, higher walls, protective padding, and slower start points. But for many, it was too late. A dream had turned into a warning for all who would race after him. February 8, 1992, Albertville, France. The Winter Olympics were in full motion beneath the white peaks of the French Alps. Among the many sports that year, one story stood out: a tragedy on the ice. 27-year-old Swiss speed skater Nicolas Bogatai had trained his whole life for this moment. He wasn't just another competitor, he was one of Switzerland's most promising talents. On February 22nd, just hours before the closing ceremony, Nicholas joined his teammates for one last unofficial training run. It was supposed to be a friendly session, fast but harmless. But tragedy doesn't announce itself. It strikes in silence. As Nicholas descended the slope, another group, the Swiss ski team, entered the same path from below. Neither side saw the other until it was too late. Nicholas crashed head-on into a snow grooming machine at full speed. The collision was instant, devastating, and left no chance of survival. His death shocked the Olympic community. No one imagined such a tragedy could happen on the final day. The news reached the stadium just before the closing ceremony began. Out of respect, Switzerland withdrew from the ceremony. For many, it was a cruel reminder that even moments of glory walk hand in hand with risk. Nicolas Bokatai's story became a symbol of passion, speed, and the fine line between victory and tragedy. Rome, 1960. The Eternal City prepared for its greatest spectacle, the first Olympics ever broadcast on television. Crowds filled every street, every corner, echoing with cheers and marching bands. But in the middle of all the glory, a tragedy unfolded, unseen by millions watching at home. 21-year-old Danish cyclist Knut Enemark Jensen was racing under the scorching Italian sun. Temperatures soared above 40 degrees Celsius, yet the race continued. To fight exhaustion, Jensen's team medic gave him performance tablets, later believed to contain amphetamines. Halfway through the race, his vision blurred. Moments later, Jensen collapsed, striking his head on the hot asphalt. Teammates rushed to help, but his body wouldn't respond. Despite desperate attempts, Knud Enemark Jensen was pronounced dead before reaching the hospital. His death shocked the entire world. The first Olympic athlete to die during competition. The investigation revealed that heat, exhaustion, and drugs had pushed his body beyond its limit. In that moment, Olympic glory met its darkest shadow. Jensen's tragedy forced the IOC to take action. 2 years later, the first anti-doping regulations were born. His sacrifice changed the Olympics forever, reminding the world that no victory is worth a life. Winter 1964, Innsbruck, Austria. The mountains were covered in snow and hope filled the air. This was supposed to be the most peaceful Winter Olympics in history, but just weeks before the Games began, tragedy struck. On January 28, 1961, the entire U.S. figure skating team boarded Sabina Flight 548, bound for Brussels. 72 passengers on board, including 18 of America's top skaters, coaches, and officials. But moments before landing, something went wrong. The plane circled Brussels airport several times, unable to stabilize. And then it disappeared from the radar. The aircraft crashed into a field near the airport. There were no survivors. The news devastated the world and shattered the American figure skating community. For the first time in history, an entire Olympic team was gone. When the Innsbruck Olympics began 3 years later, their memory still haunted every arena. The U.S. flag flew at half-mast in their honor. But from that tragedy, a new generation was born. The U.S. Figure Skating Memorial Fund. It rebuilt the entire program from scratch, funding thousands of future Olympians. Every American skater who glides on the ice today carries their legacy. Their story reminds us that even in the coldest winters, hope never dies.